Cheers. In this episode, we're leaving Wilmington and we're going down the river, down from Wilmington to where we're going to store the boat in the off season. And we are doing the loop in segments. And so we're going to add a couple more 100 nautical miles on our way to storage. But I'm looking forward to the stops that we stopped at on the way down. And we want to talk to you about some new ports of call and some new places that we stopped. So let's get started.
Last night in Wilmington. There's Larlyn putting away the fenders and securing the lines. And we're about to leave Wilmington proper and go under the Wilmington Bridge.
This is my favorite time cruising, when the water is like glass, there's no wind, there's no heat yet, the sun is rising, and there's no boat traffic, nothing. It's
just us and the water.
Just us and the water. So after we left Wilmington that morning, we actually took some very early exit because we wanted to beat the ocean liner traffic. There's a huge ocean liner port at the top of that river by Wilmington, and we wanted to get out of there before the tugboats come down and start unhooking all the ocean liners.
Were we lucky?
We were lucky. We got past the port and kind of burst into the river early in the morning. There wasn't a whole lot of boat traffic, which is what I like. And then we got down into the middle of the river, and lo and behold, there was a giant ocean liner tanker coming up the river.
Yeah. Here we are, heading towards Southport, and there's a giant container ship coming our way. So we're going to get out of the channel, give a wide berth, and then swing back into the channel. You never feel so small until you're riding along a giant cargo container ship.
And, you know, the river seems pretty big from this video that we're going to show you here. But the thing that's a little bit nerve-wracking if you're a captain is that all that water is not deep. The deepest water is in the middle, right next to that thing. And so you have to give those ships a very wide berth, and you have to move all the way over outside of the channel. And so I was a little bit nervous outside of the channel on that river because the depths change so quickly and so frequently outside the channel. So as you see, this guy is like rolling by. I'm trying to get out of his way, but you know, it was
That's
a
what
little
it
bit
looks
nerve
like
wracking
from
knowing that the
alongside.
depths go from like 40 feet to
Container
10
ship.
feet to 6 to 40.
Wow. We're about to hit its wake.
Back into the channel.
We'll be hitting its wake for a while here. Goodbye, Thassos. Glad you didn't have to call us.
What was his name?
Thassos? Thassos. It's like a Greek name. Alright, so successfully avoided the container ship. Now coming back into the channel and trying to avoid the crab pots.
That was an interesting morning.
Yeah.
Going down the river, it was a lot easier, I think, than coming up the river, because coming up the river, you're fighting the current. All these giant trees are floating at you. Logs, you have to dodge the logs constantly. Going down the river,
Yeah.
there's like way less logs, and it was probably just because it didn't rain.
Oh yeah, it wasn't raining and storming on us on the way there, but I think it also because we already traversed, so we were literally reversing our course.
I mean, other than the hundreds and hundreds of crab pots that you have to watch, because every single person and their mother is putting a crab pot out there on the river.
Anytime there's a sign that's dug into the bottom of the river,
Yeah.
there is a crab pot buoy. Not just one,
Many.
many.
But it was almost comical because there were so many crab pots that you could actually see the edges of the channel
You
all the
could.
way down,
Yeah,
because
that's right. Yeah.
there's like hundreds of buoys from crab pots.
Want a teeny
Look at all those crab pots. They go on as far as the channel. You can see the channel. Same on this side. Just crab pots, crab pots, crab pots.
So once we kind of burst into the main part of the river, I was shocked at how fast we were going. Usually we cruise about 8 knots, and when we were going up the river against the current, it was like 8 knots minus like 1.5. So we were going pretty slow up the river, like 6.5 knots. Going down the river, the current plus the tide going out, we were hitting like 11, 12 knots.
Yeah.
Just going with the flow of the river and the tide all at the same time. So,
And it was nice and cool.
yeah.
It was early in the morning. We didn't have the sun blazing on us just yet.
11 knots. Going hull speed. That is current and tide behind you. Literally, we have added 50% speed just by the time of day that we left.
So it was a really nice morning. It was long though. We
Yeah.
left 6 a.m. maybe,
Yeah.
and we didn't get to our destination.
It was all day.
2 maybe.
We had to go all the way down the river, and then we had to turn the bend again, go past Southport, and then once you get past Southport, you're back into the ICW again. And then we were on the ICW for a couple more hours.
We were stopped by the Coast Guard,
Yes.
so we had a 15-minute pause.
So why don't you tell them about what happened for the Coast Guard? I saw them up ahead,
Yeah,
and they stopped another boat. They stopped like a center console, and they were writing them a ticket or whatever for doing something that they shouldn't. And then here we go past the center
cruising
console.
by them.
We're like
And-
this 47-foot boat just going right by them. And they literally stopped what they were doing. And they're like,
They followed us. And I was waving like, hello, you know, we're safe here. We've got so many life jackets, orange ones. So you could see them just from outside
I was
the boat.
pretty sure I saw the guy go, spider caught a fly.
Yeah. So we're just turning in. I think it's just one of those places in North Carolina where there's a lot of boat traffic. There's a lot of beaches. There's just a lot of people. And so the Coast Guard is out, you know, just patrolling, making sure people are safe and they're not drunk and whatnot. So, I don't know, a couple of minutes after we passed the smaller boat that they were issuing a ticket, they were right behind us and their lights went on. And we were like, brother.
Yeah. Before they boarded us, they asked us if we had any weapons. We said no. And then
We didn't really know what to do, so they just said, no, just be in neutral or whatever, and they would just follow us. So that meant that Kian had to be at the helm, and I had to walk the Coast Guard around the boat. And they just had a long checklist, and not a long checklist, but a checklist of all of the different safety features that they had to check for us. And so I had to take one of the Coast Guards down below.
Yeah.
And just show him anything he wanted to see. So he wanted to see our rules for discharging, make sure that we had a plaque around it, check the heads where the warning signs need to be for the things that you can't put in the head and the sanitary systems. That's right. And how many fire extinguishers that we had on board, how many life jackets, so a lot of just safety checks. They were fine. They gave us our validation slip that said, you know, they can't guarantee we're not going to get boarded again.
But we just hang the slip out if we get boarded again in the next year, and then they just move on if they've already seen that we've been boarded and passed in the last 12 months.
One tip, though, they asked for all the documentation. And before we had pushed off in Savannah, I had gone through every single piece of paper that was left there from our prior owner, every certificate, everything, and then I just kind of organized it to make sure that we knew where our licenses were, where all of our insurance paperwork, all of that. And so when they asked for it, I had it handy.
So we're thankful that we passed. I wasn't sure that we were going to, but we're thankful that they passed and that they let us go. So we went down the ICW and we kept going and we passed the rock pile again. Thankfully, it was like late in the afternoon on a weekday, so there wasn't a whole lot of people there.
It was higher tide too, no?
Yeah, and we went through the rock pile, and then we landed at Barefoot Landing, which is a new marina and a new part of South Carolina that we hadn't seen yet. And we wanted to show you a couple of videos here about the local area and the local marina. So here you go.
Barefoot Marina, this is Soulmates on 1-2.
Barefoot Marina.
Coming in for our transient slip, looking for directions on how to get there.
Gotcha, Captain. North or southbound?
We are southbound.
Alrighty, Captain. Just keep on coming. You're going to see a horizon called land in sight out on the south end of the middle T-head. You're going to take a right after that boat into the fairway and take another right, and it's going to be slip 116. I'll be out there in a green shirt waving you down.
Copy that, slip 116.
Yes, sir, Captain. I'll be standing by on 1-2.
So once we got to Barefoot Landing off of the ICW, it was actually a pleasant surprise, I would say. It was I was kind of expecting it to kind of be like, I don't know, a fishing village type of marina, but it was actually right in the heart of everything.
Yeah.
And you can see right here in the video we're going to show you, they put us in the guest slip right behind the face dock. Morning at the Barefoot Landing Marina. Docked right up next to the pump out, the fuel. Or we can pump out and fuel in our own slip.
So luckily for us, there was no current, no wind.
Yeah.
So it was pretty easy to dock, but it was a very tight turn for the 47 feet that we have.
The thing that I liked about the docking there is that there's like zero elements. There's like no current, no wind, no nothing. And it's like she said, it's very easy. You're just sneaking into a shared slip with another yacht. So be prepared for that.
Yep. But it was really nice. It was really close to Barefoot Landing.
Yeah.
You could just take our dinghy right across the ICW.
We did take our dinghy across the ICW. There is it's a restaurant and shopping center area.
Yeah.
Across the ICW.
Yeah, Barefoot Landing is really a nice entertainment space. And there's a lot of restaurants. There's a lot of places to dock and dine.
Yeah.
There's a ton.
Lots and lots of places to eat dinner, eat breakfast, eat lunch. And then there's a whole like shopping area right behind all of the waterfront restaurants. Barefoot Landing. Our boat is over there. About 7 in the morning. Barefoot Landing. Nice little walk along the ICW. But in general, I mean, there's a lot to do there. As part of the transient slip that you could get if you go there, they let you have access to the pool and the weight room, fitness center, and then you go behind the condos and the pool, and there's a couple of grocery stores back there.
That's right.
You have to walk to them, but you know, there's some places to buy groceries. Lots of places to walk the dog.
And you can actually walk from the marina all the way across the river to Barefoot Landing. It just is a very long walk.
You have to go on the bridge. You have to go on the bridge. We ended up staying there for 2 to 3 nights, and I think that was the perfect amount of time. 2 to 3 nights at Barefoot Landing. You get to do everything that they have, but then you move along after that. We are at Barefoot Landing, and just having a glass of wine on the back of the boat. Not a terrible place to stop for a couple of days on your way back home. And you got right across the ICW, you got live music, restaurants. So on the last night, we had a surprise fireworks show.
Yeah, it was really nice. It was a show that went on for 5 minutes, I don't know.
No, it was like 20, 30 minutes.
It was a very long time. It was really great. It was a really great show, and the marina that we were in just gave you a great view of the entire show. We had a front row seat to the fireworks show. So we'll show you a little bit of what we saw and what we experienced here. And until next time, we'll head our way down the ICW next episode. Cheers.
Cheers. Safe boating.
Happy boating.
Enjoy the fireworks. talked about this in an earlier episode. In Wilmington, our freshwater pump died. I bought a new freshwater pump. I installed said pump, but it didn't work. And so we had to use the garden hose to kind of create alternate pressure in the boat. And then we left Wilmington with no functioning water pump. When we got to Barefoot Landing, there's literally like 0 people in Barefoot Landing that fix boats. Like almost nobody works on boats except one guy who had one cancellation that day, and other than that cancellation, he was booked up for 3 weeks. And so I'm like, just stop by and help me. And he helped us, and he figured out that it wasn't the pump, it was the wires needed to be pulled and replaced and run again. And so when he did that, the pump fired up and it was working, and we were like, okay, thank you. The interesting thing is that I did test the wires before deciding to replace the pump, and there was current coming over the wires. So I just thought, hey, it must be the pump that's bad. The wires seem fine. But what ended up happening is the current coming over the wires was not enough current. It was, the voltage was not meeting the 12 volt expected minimum. And so obviously the pump wouldn't run. So we ended up having to run new wires through the wall over here, and we pulled it up into the panel behind here and had to run those wires through the wall, which was not as easy as I was hoping. But we were able to fix it, and now it runs just fine. Now it runs just fine. So, problem solved for now. I was almost ready to kill the trip if we didn't have working toilets and working faucets and showers.
Yeah. It was already hot as it is, so, you got to keep hydrated and make sure you yourself are safe. And no fresh water is a very difficult thing, even though you are floating on water. It's not water you can drink or bathe in, it's...
So when we got the pump working again, I was like, thank you. Yeah. And I didn't feel like anyone was trying to scam us and tell us we had to replace the whole thing. They're all very like, I just want to get in and out as fast as possible for you and for me. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you the quickest way to fix this. So.
But that doesn't mean that you should go in not knowing anything about an engine or your electrical or anything like that. But everyone we encountered, and we didn't even know anybody, right? We just talked to the dock master or people that were around us. They recommended folks to us. And I never felt like we were ripped off at all. So
yeah, that's right.
It was really great.